So I apologize in advance if I sound a little stuffy. I still have a stuffy nose. I just recovered from a sore throat, so that's why this review's coming out a little later than I wanted it to. But I'm here. Let's do this. Suicide Squad is the third film in the DC Extended Universe and is written and directed by David Ayer. It features a group of some of the most dangerous criminals around the world. As Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis, wants to put up some sort of task force to send them on incredibly dangerous missions. And if they die, then that's not really a big problem. They're expendable. And if they survive, they get time reduced off of their sentence. So when a giant huge apocalyptic event that could take over the entire world occurs, it's up to the Suicide Squad to save the day, because as we all know, there are no Justice League members within this universe. I'll get more into that aspect a little later, but first, I actually knew nothing about Suicide Squad. I knew some of the characters in there, like Harley Quinn and Killer Croc, but I didn't really know what they were about. Somebody told me what the concept was, which I pretty much told you, a bunch of villains that are rounded up to go on dangerous missions, and if they die, then whatever. And I thought, you know what, that's a really cool concept. And this is something kind of new for DC to do that isn't Superman or Batman, even though a majority of the characters are Batman villains. We'll see what happens. We'll see where this goes. One day. I'm hoping one day they get it right. Because Suicide Squad, I just found really uneventful, boring, and stupid at points. Now, to go back to the story of the movie, this giant apocalyptic event that happens, most of the main characters in this movie don't have any special supernatural powers. Like, they aren't like a Superman or Flash. They're pretty much just criminals and average Joes. So the idea of sending them to take care of a big world-ending situation is really stupid. I know at this point Superman's dead, which is still a stupid decision to make. They're already established that there are these beings here, or metahumans as they're called, like the Flash and Aquaman. This really is like something that the Justice League should handle. In fact, the whole finale, like with the giant light in the sky, it reminds me of the Avengers, but it plays out more like Fantastic Four, which is not a good sign at all. Because it does the same things that the finale in the Fantastic Four reboot from last year did. It's just a lot of stupid decisions. They make shit up as they go along. No real plan. Some people have criticized that a character just has this transformation out of nowhere. I won't say who or what it is, but I'm not really that harsh on it, because if it was in the comic books, then it was only a matter of time before that thing was going to happen. It's like if I criticize Ant-Man becoming Giant Man in Civil War. It's like, you know he has that ability, it's only a matter of time that he uses the ability. But storyline aside, how are the dynamics between the characters? Almost non-existent. The only two characters that are really worth something in this movie, well, in terms of the whole squad, are Deadshot, played by Will Smith. Will Smith is probably the best part in this movie. He does have charisma, and even after something shitty like After Earth, he does prove to be a very charismatic and likable actor. And he does work well in this movie. But my problem with it is that he's just playing Will Smith. There's not one point in this movie where I say, oh, that's Deadshot. I'm like, oh, that's Will Smith in a superhero movie playing Will Smith. Again, he's not bad, but it's not like Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I mean, Heath Ledger is the better Joker, but Jack Nicholson is that case where he plays himself, but that was just because of perfect casting, and you believe him as the Joker. With Will Smith, it's just Will Smith. I never once believed he was Deadshot. And as for Harley Quinn, I was actually really disappointed in Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn is that comic book character that has never been in a live-action movie, but everyone knows her. She's that popular and one of the more interesting Batman villains. And when I heard that Margaret Robbie was going to be cast in the role, I was like, perfect. That's perfect right there. Because if you watch The Wolf of Wall Street, she does an excellent Rhode Island accent that's perfect for the character of Harley Quinn. And with this, I was like, well, she looks like Harley Quinn, but her Rhode Island accent goes in and out. She's not as insane as Harley Quinn should be. In fact, she just gets more sane as the movie goes on, which I don't know. I felt like it would have been more interesting if Harley Quinn just did a couple things that made it more difficult for the team to complete their job. I was just really let down by Harley Quinn. The one thing they did get right, though, is her relationship with the Joker, which is a good transition into the Joker, played by Jared Leto. Now, this was really a daunting task for Jared Leto because Heath Ledger set the bar so high that in terms of live-action Jokers, nobody can top him. As much as I love Jack Nicholson as the Joker, Heath Ledger is the best live-action Joker. So, Jared Leto, he does something different. At the same time, he does a copy of Heath Ledger. Here's where things are different. I like how he's a mob boss rather than just some guy who wants to spread chaos all over the city. He's actually a mob boss, or as the Mark Hamill Joker would say, the Clown Prince of Crime. Now, the problem with Jared Leto is that his voice seems too much like Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight. Like, if you just played audio snippets of both Jokers back to back with the voice, I guarantee you wouldn't be able to tell who's who. And I actually don't like the laugh at all. I hate this Joker laugh so much. It's just so, uneventful. It's not as chaotic as some of the other Jokers, like Heath Ledger's, Mark Hamill's, or Jack Nicholson's. You ever heard of the healing power of laughter? Okay, I'm not in the mood to do a Jack Nicholson Joker laugh because I'm still recovering. But bottom line, I just don't like the Jared Leto laugh. And also, he feels crowbarred into the movie. He's only in it for about 15 minutes, which I heard they cut a lot of Joker scenes out, which I feel like it would have been better if they just cut Jared Leto out altogether. The only real purpose he has in this movie is to serve as backstory for Harley Quinn, because he does not play a big role in this movie like everyone thought he was going to. Everyone else, all the other squad members are just background. I really be hard-pressed to tell you what I remember about them because the introduction we get for each of the squad members is through Amanda Waller talking to a bunch of government guys through press release saying, okay, here's this character, here's what they do, and here's their backstory. It's literally one of those things where I'm explaining the background rather than seeing the characters do things and letting us as the audience get to know them personally. I've used this movie as an example when reviewing The Dark Knight Rises, and I'm gonna use it again. When Star Wars The Force Awakens comes out and we're introduced to the character of Rey, there's nobody there saying, oh, here's Rey, here's what she does, here's where she lives. No, her introduction is about 5 minutes, maybe less, of her just living her life in Jakku. She doesn't talk, and all through that scene, with no dialogue from her, we already know who Rey is, where she lives, and what her character is like. I hate it. Absolutely hate it when characters are introduced via exposition. Show, don't tell. How many times am I gonna have to say this for DC movies? I don't want to, but you gotta give us character development without using expositional dialogue. I'm gonna be honest, with Suicide Squad, it's worse than Batman vs. Superman. It might not have made me as angry as moments in Batman vs. Superman, but I will say this, to the credit of Batman vs. Superman, it at the very least had many things in it that I loved. It's just in a shitty movie. For example, Ben Affleck as Batman, Jeremy Irons as Alfred, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, the warehouse sequence that's like the Batman Arkham video games. Those are all fantastic things. Here, I can point out some good things in it, but every time I point out a positive, I always have to talk about something that just hurts the positive. So, on the whole, it's really hard for me to recommend this movie at all. I would say don't waste your money on this movie at all. It's really just really, really bad. I also feel like that this should not have been the third movie in the DC Extended Universe. I feel like what they should have done before Suicide Squad came out was they should have already had Justice League done. They should have had solo movies for each of the heroes, given us a Batman movie, introduced a lot of these characters in that Batman movie, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Joker, and Killer Croc. And then by the time Suicide Squad comes around, we already know who these characters are, so we don't need introductions. That would have been a lot better. But unfortunately, this is what we have, and it's just not very good at all. And I want DC to succeed. I really want their cinematic universe to win me over. But as of now, this is strike 2. Even though they have 3 movies, I lump Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman together because they were both directed by Zack Snyder. So both movies is strike 1. This is strike 2 because it's the first time we have a different director on board, and it's still not a very good movie. So Wonder Woman has to win me over. Otherwise, if that movie's bad, it's over, Johnny. It's over! Thumbs up for you if you got that reference. However, like I said in my Batman vs. Superman review, if you see this movie and you say, man, you don't know what you're talking about, this movie's awesome, then hey, good for you. You enjoyed the movie, don't let anyone else say otherwise. But, and this is something I, again, said in my Batman vs. Superman review, we as a fan base deserve better. We deserve better DC movies. And, you know, now with Geoff Johns in charge of the DC Extended Universe, maybe we'll get those better movies. Maybe he'll be the Kevin Feige that the universe needs. I'm still hoping for the best. I'm still holding out hope that we get a good DC movie. But anyhow, that's my review for Suicide Squad. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are on the movie, if and when you've seen it. And as always, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one.